It doesn't, even though I would have preferred that no such survey, obviously unwarranted, was conducted by the State Intelligence Bureau.
Oh, you think this is unwarranted?
Because then it creates the sense that Dr. Bawumia is being pressured into a certain decision. Thankfully, his spokesperson has spoken and has indicated that he has made up his mind a long time ago, as to who he is going to go with. And so, even though I'm not in a position to confirm what's in his mind, if it coincides with what the survey has generated, then you would have people wanting to conclude that maybe it's because of the outcome of the survey that has led him to make the choice that he intends to make. It may not be fair on him. And so that's why I feel that putting this confidential, as is described, document out there in the public domain may not be fair to His Excellency the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia. I think we should leave him. He's been at the role for 8 years. He's been in politics actively for 16 years. He knows the terrain. He knows what he wants and who assists him in executing the mandate that the good people of this country he's seeking from. And so to make it look as if he's being pressured, or that what the party grassroots necessarily is saying is what he has to go with, I don't think is fair.
In fact, his
because I'm trying to put myself in his position. And
his spokesperson, as you referred to,
yes,
Dennis Miracle Sabuaji, says that the Vice President had made up his mind about his running mate long before he got elected on November 4.
Yeah, I'm inclined to believe that. Because, Samson, if I was going to go into a serious election such as the flag bearership of a political party, my intention would be to win the flag bearership and proceed to win the general election. Who my team would be, I will have a fair sense of what they will be made up of. And so your number 2 person, obviously somebody that you would have considered over time, probably somebody from your previous employment, somebody you've known, or somebody that you've come into contact with whilst in government that you feel can complement you in achieving your vision that you are selling to the people of Ghana, would be who you will go for. And I wouldn't be surprised that he had that person in mind a long time ago before.
And to be fair to the facts also, Matthew Poku Prepe has been in the running from the get-go. So this may simply be confirming a choice that he has already made. That's possible.
Well, I wouldn't want to put myself in speculating for and on behalf of the flag bearer. I think we have to afford him the opportunity to announce formally his choice. I have worked with Dr. Matthew Poku Prepe for at least 3.5 years, directly. I've known him for some time during our first term in Parliament. I even knew him before when he was banking at my previous employment, First Atlantic Merchant Bank, where I worked for close to 8 years. Okay, so I've known him. I've publicly gone out to express my desire that if the Vice President selects him, it will be an ideal choice.
Okay.
But it is not for me. Okay, I can, and same with other people who are expressing views on other people that they know that they would want or wish for the Vice President to make an announcement in their favor. But he is the one we've chosen to lead our party. He is the one that we are presenting on our ticket. He is the one, if by the grace of God he wins, going to govern the country. So he is the one that our Constitution empowers him to choose who he feels he's comfortable with to work, to partner him in going into the election and to govern our country. So I think that it's only fair that we allow him to make his own choice. And whatever choice that he makes, my understanding is that very soon would not be based on any pressures from anybody necessarily, but because he himself knows that this is the person.
The commentary is that it's taking the Vice President too long.
I don't think so at all.
To make a decision.
I do not think so at all.
Your opponent made his decision long before now.
When was he selected?
Before he made his decision,
When was he
there were
selected?
comments from your party members suggesting that it was taking him forever to make that decision.
When was our opponent selected? And when did he announce his running mate? In fact, the fact that it turned out to be someone that he had contested with before, the time that it took for him to announce, in my view, I don't want to use unwarranted again. But clearly, so you cannot fault Dr. Bawumia, who was selected only in November, and we're in June, 6 or so months down the line. Because you see, like Miracle said, there are a lot of consultations a lot of consultations that you need to go through before you finally put out the name. Yes, you have the prerogative to choose, but you operate within a system. And so it is important that you bring everybody along. And so that bringing everybody along would require some consultative process. And I'm sure that that's exactly what His Excellency the Vice President is going
but
to do.
As a party, are you worried that some surveys, public ones, do suggest often that Educhum may be the ideal guy? From the way you look at him, does he compare to the Opoku Prempeh that you would wish becomes the vice presidential candidate?
Look, everybody, I'm sure, has some strengths. Everybody obviously will have some weaknesses. And so it's a gamut of the two that the candidate will have to weigh. But I've sat in cabinet with him for some time now, and his contributions are pretty excellent. He carries himself well. But of course, he may have some weaknesses that would come to the fore. And if you look at the survey, what the party people felt clearly tells you that the strengths that he has is not sufficient enough to outweigh the weaknesses in their view.
All right.
And so I think that whoever the vice president selects, I'm happy. I trust in his judgment. I would work with him and whoever he chooses to ensure that we win the election in 2024.
What influences the decision more? What the party people want or what the generality of Ghanaians want? And there are many who cast Matthew Opoku Prempeh as arrogant.
Because they don't know him.
Yes. and I know these things can happen. And I make a confession to you.
Yeah.
When, for a long time, Akufo-Addo was contesting and was being cast in the picture and frame of arrogance. And many people were just saying he's arrogant, he doesn't deserve to get close to the presidency and so on. I had the opportunity to join his campaign. And throughout the campaign, as we went around the country, I came to report with my encounters with him that from what I have seen, he's not arrogant. And that his confidence at what he knows and does, and the way he does it, may be what people misconstrue for arrogance.
But is it not the case that people tend to castigate who they feel to be their strongest opponent more, with all sorts of characterizations? And so it doesn't come to me as a surprise at all when people describe Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh in those terms.
Okay.
But anybody who has had any close association with him probably will die for him because of the kind of human being that he is.
Okay.
And so...
how soon are we expecting this announcement to be made?
I'm not in a position to say.
Oh, you know it, please.
No, I'm not. Honest to God, I do not. We had been told by the campaign team that the announcement will be made sometime in June. We still have some 10 or 11 days more for the month to run out. 8 days. So let's see if there's any reason why it would be deferred further. I'm sure that the consultations amongst the party hierarchy and the candidate will be held and that extension will be granted. But the speculation that has been too long in coming, I don't think that it's borne out by anything on the ground at all. If you compare to previous times that the running mate was selected,